That
Right
is
now
a
on
full-fledged
Steel's
giant
Reel
right
in the
there.
Outdoors.
Set the hook. Oh my God! That's big. Oh, look at that one! Oh my gracious! Oh! Oh, I saw him coming, and I got him. I gotta get another bump. Gotta get another bump.
Exactly.
Look at that. Look at that. If I had my vision of heaven, this is how bass fishing would be.
I'm Joe Thomas. For over 25 years, I've made my living with a rod and reel. And today, more than ever, I'm still fascinated by the people that make fishing a uniquely American pursuit. What you're about to see is real.
Look at that peacock.
This is Steel's Reel in the Outdoors.
Anglers Inn International.
Hi, I'm Joe Thomas, and welcome to Steel's Reel in the Outdoors. Now, in fishing, when I find something that works, I stick with it. Sometimes it's a bait, sometimes it's a technique like flipping, and you know I love to flip, but sometimes it's a lake. Now, I've had the chance to fish some amazing places, but there's one place that I return to every chance I get. And why? Because I think it's the #1 trophy bass lake in the world. And of course, I'm talking about Lake El Salto in Mexico, home of Billy Chapman Jr.'s Anglers Inn. For more than a decade, I've traveled to Mexico to fish Lake El Salto. Every trip is unique. Every cast could be the fish of a lifetime, and my guess is that the lake holds more 10-pound-plus bass than any in the world. There's only a handful of places where you can say that and really mean it. And of course, there's Anglers Inn. No one does it better than Billy Chapman Jr. The amenities, the staff, the guides, it's all incredible. But the main reason I go to Anglers Inn on Lake El Salto every year is the incredible fishing, which I'm guessing is why you're watching, so let's get to it. Oh my God! Holy cow! Did you see that? That is what you come here for, that strike right there. What a strike! God, big old pig. Oh. And he just snarfed it. I mean, he's got it all the way down. I can't even believe we haven't left sight of the lodge. What a way to start things off. He's got it all the way down. I don't know, it's a belly. I don't think I mean, he's literally swallowed it. Look at that one. How about that for starting things off in Mexico, folks? Woohoo! Martin, but he didn't even start the big motor. I'm thinking, what's he got in mind? Well, that's what he had in mind. Nice job.
Thank you, sir.
A good start. Just the beginning of things to come, I'm sure. And I'll be wet from the beginning. Believe it or not, as good as it is, it can be a little bit tricky to shoot an episode of Steel's Reel in the Outdoors on Lake El Salto. Now, let's face it, my job is to fish, explain what I'm doing, and maybe teach you a thing or two. But on Lake El Salto, the fishing is so good, it can easily become a smash fest where all you see me do is set the hook and shake my head in disbelief. Just big fish after big fish after big fish. The fact is, Lake El Salto is a giant bass fishing classroom. So if you want to learn to fish structure, you can do it there. Topwaters, no problem. Flooded timber, it's all there. Really, the only thing you can't do on Lake El Salto is go ice fishing. I mean, I didn't even turn it. Twice. Smoked it. Oh, that's a good one too. When they hit it, when they want it, there's no taking it away from them. He just choked it, just like that last one. Oh man. You know, I think about it all year. I think about getting the chance to come back here, and you just know what you're in for when you get here. And already, it's been worth the trip. Nice fish, man. Crushed it. look at this guy. That's not even a big El Salto bass, but you know what? That's a big bass anywhere else on the planet, I promise you. He snarfed that thing. Just totally munched it. Look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. I don't care where you are. If you're a bass fisherman, you live for that strike right there. You live for it. That's cool. Oh my God! Oh God! How about that for starting things off in Mexico, folks? Woohoo! In my career as a professional bass fisherman, I got to fish with some of the best anglers in the world. And now, as host of Ultimate Match Fishing, every week I'm watching classic champions and Angler of the Year winners. But then there's this guy, Martin Lopez, my guide for the past several years on Lake El Salto. Martin is one of the best I've ever fished with. There's not a snag he can't free, a backlash he can't untangle, and Martin even goes swimming when I get a big bass stuck in a tree. And over the years, we have become great friends. Unbelievable! Oh, you are my hero! Look at that fish! Unbelievable! Martin is not the exception when it comes to guides and anglers in. As a matter of fact, he's the rule. Most of the guides have been there as long as the lake's been impounded. Heck, some of them lived in the town before it was flooded, so they really know their job. And when Martin tells me to throw over there, I throw over there.
Hey, Joy, casting more out. It's the closest stick. It's shallow water, long point.
Okay, got it. Oh, Daddy. Oh, Daddy. Oh, Daddy. You jumping? This is a big one here, boys. You're going for that tree. Back up a little bit, please. Jumping, jumping. Oh, look at that one. Oh, my gracious. What a day. We're not even through one fishing session. He's gonna jump again. Whoa, what a pig. And you see this lake, and I've been coming here now for 10 years, and you see this lake and you think eventually it's gotta run out of steam. And it never seems to run out of steam. I gotta get another bump. Gotta get another bump.
Exactly. Good cast, perfect cast.
Perfect cast. You talk about getting bird dogged. I mean, he said between the stick and the point, shallow, drops off. I mean, well, this is his playground, but what a fish. Look at that. And this lake just keeps on pumping them out. Probably better right now, 2015, better now than it's ever been. Crazy, crazy. Look at that big, ugly mongrel. Look at that sucker. I can't wait to make another cast. This is crazy. They are loaded, loaded right there. It's hard to imagine that you can just pull up on a point. I mean, looks like any other point in the lake, and just catch big one after big one after big one. And you'll go in for lunch, and the lodge today has probably got 30 fishermen in it. And everybody else will be catching them too. The place is just off the hook. I mean, it makes me look really good. But when you've got a guy like that putting you on them, all I am is the guy. Oh, he dropped it. No, he got it. Is the guy catching them. There's a ton of them right here. Just a ton of them. I felt that jig just thump. A little ledge. You pull it off that ledge. Game on. Nice fish. Blind in one eye. No wonder I caught him. He can't see out of that eye. I drug it by his left side, and his right side, and he snatched it. Look at that sucker. Or he pinned him. Something so simple. Something so simple. They love it. I know every year here is a little bit different, but right now things are just going according to plan. We stopped the top water when they kind of got off of it. The sun got high, and now we're on these steeper banks throwing a jig. They're not exactly on the bank now. They've kind of pulled off to that first little ledge, and the jig is a perfect thing to use. And I'm just using that 3/8 ounce that's not very heavy, at 3/8 ounce Arky with that whisker bait on it, which makes it fall nice and slow. And just milking it out there till it comes across that ledge. If I don't get a bite, I reel it in and throw it back out. Oh crap! I pulled the backlash out and he was on it. Wow, am I skillful? My skill level is questionable at this point. Oh, it's another big one. Whoa, dude! How'd you like to pull a backlash out and wind up and have that on the end of it? Look at that sucker. I think it's the biggest one so far. Oh, look at the head on that dude. I fixed my bait. I throw it out there and I get this backlash. Doesn't happen often, but I get this backlash. And I finally get it out, I pick up, and my line is swimming out somewhere to Austin, Texas. Look at that. He's a little thinner than the rest of them, but look at that head. That big old head. What do you say? What do you say? And we're just getting started. Just getting rolling, man. Who knows what's gonna happen? Oh, daddy. That's a big one. Crap. I pulled the backlash out and he was on it. I gotta get another bump. Gotta get another bump.
Good cast, perfect cast.
Perfect cast. You talk about getting bird dogged. I mean, he said between the stick and the point, shallow, drops off. I mean, well, this is his playground, but what a fish. Look at that. And this lake just keeps on pumping them out. Hey, I'm Joe Thomas, and welcome back to Steele's Reel in the Outdoors. Now, if you're just joining us today, I'm on Lake El Salto in Mexico with my good friend and guide, Martin Lopez of Billy Chapman Jr.'s Anglers Inn. Now, it's a fact that even some of the best bass lakes in the world go through cycles. One year they can be red hot, and the next year just kind of so-so, and some years they can fall completely off the radar. But not Lake El Salto. Year after year, it remains one of the best bass fisheries in the world. Maybe it's the strict catch and release policy Billy implemented years ago, or maybe it's the tilapia that feed these huge hungry fish. I really can't explain it. Sometimes I think the cycle that Lake El Salto goes through is like really good, great, and unbelievable. It's just that good. Okay, we're gonna play a game. It's a game, it's a bass game. You tell me when to set the hook. I'm not gonna set the hook until you say set the hook.
Set the hook.
Oh, daddy. Jumping, jumping, jumping. Dude, seriously. It's Ed. It's Ed. You never know which one's gonna be the big. Oh, please don't go for those trees. Please don't go for those trees. I'm putting all the smoke on. I can't on him. He's super fired up. Oh, my hands are so bad. Gosh. One after another, after another. This has been the best day. I know you've heard me say that before, but I mean today truly is the best day I can ever remember. Just hammering them, one after another, after another, after another. Topwater, crankbait, jig, worm, everywhere we go. This way, bass fishing is probably in heaven. If I had my vision of heaven, this is how bass fishing would be.
Okay, Senor Thomas, casting right to the house.
Okay,
Right there. A little to the left.
okay, got it. Good?
This is perfect cast. Good.
Yep, it sure is. That's a good one. Oh, gosh, it's a giant. Now he knows he's hooked. Oh, man. That's a big fish right there. Come. Look at that. Look at that. Just look at that. That is a full-fledged giant right there. Look at that fish. God. Oh man, I may never leave. I may just never ever leave. Look at that. Oh, what a pig. Just a pig. Look at the mouth. Look at the mouth on that fish. Oh, Daddy. Good job, man. You keep putting me on them. What do you say after that? You just keep on fishing. Why stop now? You speak really good English, and I speak really bad Spanish. So Billy Chapman,
Yeah.
has this in the lodge. So I want you to kind of show me some of these things, okay? Mm-hmm. It says, let's find something that looks good. What bait should I use? Now I'm gonna try and do this, okay? What bait should I use? ¿Cuál carnada es la mejor?
Es la mejor. ¿Sí?
How do I say it?
¿Cuál carnada es la mejor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Es today?
Yeah.
What?
Jig? No, today is crankbait,
Crankbait.
top water, jig, worm,
Yeah.
pretty much anything you
Yeah.
throw. But if you don't speak Spanish,
Yeah.
right there you go. You got it. Little map of the lake, a little
Yeah.
bit of Espanol.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, good. Thank you.
Lessons. I like lessons. That's a fish. That's a fish. Holy Moses. Jumping, jumping, jumping. Whoa, look at that one. Yeah. Yeah, let's just stop and throw a big old worm. Throw over there, Joe. This is almost like stupid, so many fish. Ah, come on now, come on now. At the risk of sounding like a girl, my hand is so sore from lipping big bass that just a chunker, just a chunker. Beautiful fish. Believe it or not, my first trip to Anglers Inn on Lake El Salto was actually a father and son getaway with my dad, Jim. And my dad loves that lake as much as anyone. But unfortunately, the last few years, health issues have kept him from being able to come down and go fishing with us. Well, this year, we grabbed Big Jim, and he not only got to go to Anglers Inn, but he got to become a member of the club. Yep, my dad caught his first 10-pounder. After that, if I don't catch a bigger one, I'll never hear the end of it. Friends, family, an amazing guide, and incredible fishing are all highlights at Anglers Inn. But my personal favorite is this week's Ranger Evinrude Reel Highlight. Check it out. Uh-oh. Daddy, this is it. This is the one. This is the one. Jumping, jumping, jumping. Oh, man. That's an El Salto Grande. That officially qualifies as Grande. Oh, baby, what a giant. What a giant. When Martine gets excited, there's trees all over. I know there's trees. I can only put so much juice on them. Jumping, jumping. Oh, what a pig. What a pig. What a giant. Come on. Martine, you want to get it for me? You want to grab it? Yeah, you. No, grab it with your hand. With your hand. Here we go. Yes! Yes! Look at that one. Man, that fish is heavy. I mean, so heavy. You just know here, when they get those big old bug eyes, when they get that bug eye thing going, you know that's a giant. Look at that. I don't even try and weigh him here. I don't guess. I just say, awesome. Just flat out crazy, big, awesome. I'd like to say a special thank you to Billy Chapman, my guide Martine Lopez, and the entire staff at Anglers Inn for another great trip. And a big shout out to Jim Thomas for that 10-pound bass. Good job, Dad. Hey, I'm Joe Thomas, and I'll catch you next time. There's a Grande Lovino at the end of my rainbow. Grande. Oh, no!